Two people wake up to the same alarm. Same city. Same Monday morning. One will spend the next 60 hours this week trading time for money. The other will spend 10. By the end of the year, the second person will have earned 10 times more. Not because they worked harder, not because they were born into wealth, because somewhere along the way they learned something the first person never did. They learned to see the game. Most people spend their entire lives inside a system they never chose, working, climbing, optimizing. And the strange thing is, the harder they work, the more trapped they become. Today we're going to look at that system, how it was built, why it persists, and how a small number of people stepped outside it entirely. But first, you need to see what the system actually does to a life, because the numbers tell a story most people never calculate. Let's run the math on what they call a successful life. You graduate, land your first real job at 25. $50,000 a year. It feels like progress. 10 years pass. You're 35 now. Through raises and promotions, you're making $60,000. 20 years pass. You're 50. You've become what they call senior. $80,000 a year. A title. A slightly larger office. 15 more years. You retire at 65. Over the span of 40 years, you will have earned roughly $2.6 million. On paper, that sounds like wealth, until you subtract the cost of living a life. Taxes take $650,000. Housing, whether rent or mortgage, takes another $800,000. Food, transportation, raising children, medical costs, another $1 million disappears. What remains after 40 years? $200,000. That is the equation. 40 years of your singular existence reduced to a number that won't buy freedom. And here's what makes this so unsettling. You did everything correctly. You followed the path they drew for you. So why does it feel like you lost? Because you were playing level 1 of a game that has 2 levels. And level 1 was designed to make level 2 invisible. The system you grew up inside wasn't an accident. It was designed. Not by one person, not with malicious intent, but designed nonetheless. Slowly, over generations, to produce a specific outcome. Reliable workers. Think about the structure of school. The bell rings, you move. The bell rings again, you stop. You raise your hand to ask permission. You memorize what they give you. You repeat it back on a test. That's not education. That's pattern training. 12 years of learning to follow sequences. 0 years of learning to design them. And when you graduate, the pattern continues. You're handed a resume template.
A career ladder, a retirement plan. The entire mechanism is designed to keep you inside the system, not because the system is cruel, but because it needs participants. Economies require workers who show up on time, who follow instructions, who trade their hours reliably. And so the system rewards compliance and hides the alternative. But the alternative exists. It's quieter, harder to see, and it operates on a completely different set of rules. Rules that break the 40-year equation entirely. But before I show you those rules, you need to understand the one thing that traps everyone inside level 1. The thing that makes escape feel impossible. Every salary, no matter how large, comes with an invisible ceiling. That ceiling is time. When you work a job, you are converting hours into currency. And no matter how much you optimize, better title, higher pay, more efficiency, you still have 24 hours in a day. You cannot manufacture more. This is why doctors, lawyers, and executives still feel trapped. They raised the ceiling, they earn more per hour, but they're still inside the same box. If they stop working, the income stops. If they take 6 months to travel, the income stops. If they get sick, the income stops. That's not wealth. That's high-paid dependency. Most people spend decades trying to climb higher inside this box, never realizing the box itself is the problem. But here's where it starts to shift. Because there are people who broke through that ceiling entirely, and they didn't do it by working harder. They did it by understanding something about value that changes everything. Something the system never teaches. And once you see it, the whole game rewrites itself. Here's the rule that governs everything. You are not paid for effort. You are paid for perceived value. A construction worker can spend 12 hours in the sun lifting steel, pouring concrete. A surgeon can spend 30 minutes moving their hands with precision. The market pays the surgeon 20 times more. Not because surgery requires more physical effort, but because fewer people can do it, and the consequences of failure are absolute. That's value. The size of the problem solved multiplied by how rare the solution is. This is why someone can post a photo and earn millions while someone else works 70 hours a week to pay rent. The market doesn't measure your exhaustion. It measures your impact and your scarcity. And once you understand this, a question emerges. If value is what the market rewards, how do you increase your value without increasing your hours? How do you deliver value once and get paid for it infinitely? That's where the second rule comes in. And this is the one that breaks the ceiling. Leverage is what separates level 1 from level 2. Leverage means your work continues to produce results after you've stopped working. In the industrial age, leverage came from machines. One person operating a printing press could do the work of 100 scribes. In the digital age, leverage comes from code and media. Code is anything you build once that operates indefinitely. A website, a tool, a product, an automated system. Media is anything you create once that can be consumed infinitely. A video, a course, a book, a song. You do the work once, it continues working while you sleep. That's the shift.
A personal trainer can help one person per hour. Their income is locked to their time. But if that same trainer records a program once, it can reach 10,000 people. Same knowledge, same value, infinite scale. This is why software founders become billionaires. Why a single YouTube video can generate income for a decade. Why authors write one book and earn royalties for life. They built leverage. They escaped the time ceiling. And here's what most people miss. Leverage isn't just for the top 1%. It's a principle, and principles scale at any level. You don't need to build the next Amazon. You need to solve one problem for one group of people in a way that doesn't require you to show up every time. That's the formula. But even knowing the formula isn't enough, because there's something deeper that keeps people trapped. Something inside the mind itself. Most people already know on some level that the system isn't working. They feel it, but they stay anyway, not because they can't leave, but because something inside tells them not to. That voice that says, be realistic. Don't take unnecessary risks. Money doesn't grow on trees. Those aren't just phrases, they're code. Lines of programming written into your mind when you were young by people who were also programmed. And until you recognize that code and consciously rewrite it, every new idea will crash against the old system. This is why lottery winners lose everything within a few years. Their external situation changed. Their internal programming didn't. So their subconscious found a way to return to what felt normal. Wealth begins in mindset. Not in the think positive and manifest sense, but in the question your defaults sense. The moment you stop asking, can I afford this? And start asking, how could I create this? The entire game changes. You stop being a consumer of systems. You start being a designer of them.
And that shift, from participant to architect, is what separates the two levels. But making that shift requires a choice most people never make, because it means stepping off a path that feels safe and walking into uncertainty. Right now, you're standing at a fork. Path 1, the highway. It's paved, well-lit, everyone knows where it leads. You follow the steps, you work the years, you retire at 65. If nothing goes wrong. It's predictable, safe, crowded. Path 2, the trail. It's less defined, harder to see. You'll make wrong turns, you'll walk alone for stretches, but it leads somewhere the highway never will. To time that belongs to you, to work that continues without you, to the ability to choose. Most people never leave the highway, not because the trail is hidden, but because leaving requires something uncomfortable. Building before you're ready, starting before it's perfect, trusting a process with no guarantee. The trail doesn't begin with quitting your job or taking massive risks. It begins with one small thing built in the margins, one skill learned, one problem solved, one piece of value created that can scale. You build that, then another, then another. And over time, those small pieces stack into something larger, an exit. Not overnight, not without effort, but brick by brick, you build your way out. The system was never designed to make you free. It was designed to keep you reliable. And working harder inside that system is like running faster on a treadmill. You move, but you never leave. Freedom starts when you step off. When you stop optimizing someone else's equation and start building your own. The poor chase paychecks. The middle class chase security. The wealthy build systems. Not because they're smarter, because they saw the two levels. And they chose to play the one most people never see. You've seen it now. The question is, what will you build? Here's what I need you to do. Go to the comments. Write one problem you see. In your life, in the world around you. Keep it simple. Coffee gets cold too fast. Commutes waste 2 hours a day. Chairs destroy your back. One problem, that's it. Because hidden in those problems is your first brick. The people commenting below, they're walking the trail with you. If you're ready to see what happens next, subscribe.